I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please stand, bow your head? I'm sorry. Dear God, thank you for bringing us here tonight. We ask that you watch over this great city of Newman. We ask that you give this council the wisdom and the guidance to make the right decision for this city. And as we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Present.
Graham. Here. Candia. Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor Kane.
Present. Thank you. Item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing none, we'll go to item 6, ceremonial matters. And I don't believe we have any of those either. Item 7, items from the public, non-agenda item. Any member of the public wish to address the council, now is the time to do it. All right, move to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the July 2015 meeting. D is adopt resolution 2015 next in number, authorizing a change in CalPERS employer paid member contributions safety group. E, approval of the terms and agreement with the Newman Police Officers Association. F, adopt resolution 2015 next in number, approving the adoption of the West Side San Joaquin Integrated Water Management Plan update in order for the city to be considered for related grant programs. Council direction.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as read.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Candia absent. Item 9 is public hearing. And I don't believe we have one this evening. But item 10, regular business. A, first reading and introduction of ordinance 2015 next in number, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newman amending Title IV building regulations of the Newman City Code, adding Chapter 4.23 solar permitting procedures. Hi, Mike.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I'm here, a little background. Section 65850.5A of the California Government Code provides that it's the policy of the state to promote and encourage the installation and use of solar energy systems by limiting obstacles to their use and by minimizing the permitting cost of such systems. In furtherance of that objective, Section 65850.5G1 of the California Government Code requires that on or before September 30th, 2015, every city or county must adopt an ordinance that creates a streamlined, expedited permitting process for small residential rooftop solar energy systems. The city currently streamlines the review of such applications by reviewing and issuing applications in a timely manner. The city also currently can accept and approve such applications at the counter, electronically, or by fax. The city, by then current processes already streamlines and expedite the review of such applications. The city, however, needs to adopt an ordinance as mandated by California Government Code Section 65850G1. The attached ordinance is intended to satisfy this requirement. The ordinance codifies the requirements by accepting and approving applications electronically, directing the city building official to develop a checklist of all requirements with which small rooftop solar energy systems shall comply to be eligible for the expedited review, and authorizing the building official to administratively approve such applications. So it's recommended that the City Council introduce the title for the first reading, amending Title IV Building Regulations, City of Newman City Code, and adding Chapter 4.23 Small Residential Rooftop Solar Systems to comply with this requirement. Any questions?
I'm sorry. Any questions or comments from Mike? Council direction?
I so move that the first reading and introduction of ordinance number 2015 next number, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newman amending Title IV Building Regulations of the Newman City Code, adding Chapter 4.23 solar permitting procedures.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Candia absent. Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Item B, first reading of ordinance 2015, next in number, ordinance amending Title V zoning and accompanying zoning maps of the City of Newman, rezoning a parcel from R2 to P through Q. Steph?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you is the first reading of ordinance 2015 next to number regarding zone change 1501. The proposed zone change is to rezone 2070 Prince Street from R2 to PQ and convert the site to park space. In the late 90s, the former redevelopment agency acquired the property with the intention of developing a school district-funded senior center. That center was ultimately built on the Von Renner campus, leaving the parcel vacant. In 2011, redevelopment agencies were dissolved by the state. A part of that dissolution includes the disposal of RDA-owned properties. Rezoning the parcel will allow the Oversight Board to transfer the property to city ownership and subsequent development of said parcel to park space. The site and surrounding property are all zoned residential. A park designation is consistent with that type of land use. The site's unique characteristics make it unsuitable for residential development. If not rezoned, the property may have to be disposed of, and that creates the potential for non-park development. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council conduct the first reading of the ordinance, amending Title V zoning and accompanying maps, rezoning 2070 Prince Street from R2 to PQ. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments for staff? Just one, Stephanie. Do we anticipate any feedback from those residents, mainly the seniors?
Actually, I inspect the senior complex once a year because they're home funded, and I had asked about a year ago, what would you like to see there? And they expressed the desire for a park space. And the Planning Commission, one of their conditions of approval was that ultimate park development would be up to the City Council, what kind of park. I heard dog park. There's a large population of seniors within that property, or dog-owning seniors within the senior complex. It wouldn't be appropriate to put like a children's playground there. There is a playground already at Rolling Hills, and that's immediately to the south. So it would be a passive use, is whatever staff would recommend, would be either a dog park or a seating kind of green space, nothing too active given its smaller size and just access and everything.
Yeah, I get, if it's just a high traffic area where there's a lot of kids, I'm sure they would drive the seniors crazy.
Yeah, not the best place for a children's
That
type
would
of park.
increase the workload for our police department. And the chief would be fielding complaints. So that was one of the concerns, so. Okay, council direction?
I shall move the first reading of ordinance 2015, an ordinance amending Title V zoning and accompanying zoning maps of the city of Newman, rezoning A parcel from R2 to P-Q.
I second it.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Candia absent. Thank you, staff. Item C, selection of a firm to conduct public opinion research regarding the formation of a community facilities district. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick background. As you know, earlier this year, you selected members from our community to serve on a community committee to explore the possibility of the creation of a community facilities district to fund recreational opportunities. The primary goal of the CFD was to look at building a community pool. They also explored some other recreational opportunities, soccer field, soccer complex on some land that the city already owns, as well as softball fields, working in conjunction with the school district and maybe some joint development. So, as you know, a few months after that, you also commissioned a feasibility study to look at all those options to see what the cost really would be, as well as what an assessment would need to be placed on each of the parcels if we were going to move forward with that type of development. The numbers have come back. We haven't really released the numbers, although they have been printed in the newspapers. We started talking with some firms that do public opinion research, as well as doing community outreach, because we wanted to know what our next steps should be. In our conversations with them, they cautioned us to be very careful about sending out any message at this point in time until you really have done some kind of opinion poll, if you will, some research as to what it is the community wants, because obviously, our goal is to develop something that the community wants, and ultimately, we think we know what that is, but until you ask them, you may not know. So we solicited 3 bids for some public research, some opinions. Those were all attached into your package. A committee of myself with our city clerk, Mr. Meyer, our city planner, Ms. Ocasio, and our finance director. We looked at each of the bids, proposals, and had some conversations, and we kind of narrowed it down to the one we liked the best. We had a phone conversation with them, and they just kind of solidified what our thought was. At this point, originally we had narrowed it down to 2, which was Problowski and FM3, which were the 2 latter ones in your package. After some further research and some questions, and then when we looked at where they had done work before, who would they have worked with, we ultimately came to the recommendation that FM3, we believe, would provide us the best product. They are a little bit more expensive than the other ones, but in our conversation, they told us that we're not just asking about a community pool, aquatic center, whatever it's going to be called. We're going to ask them, what does the community think about your city government? Do they think you're doing a good job? You know, do they think this is important? How does it rank with public safety? How does it rank with other things? So you're not just getting some questions that only center around the pool. You're getting questions that center around the whole city government itself. So we're going to get information not only about, like I said, whether or not they support the pool under different scenarios, but they're going to kind of gauge us and tell us what they think about us in terms of how we're performing as a local government and how we're providing services to them. We felt that FM3, who does all the League of California Cities polling and research, and had experience in the Valley, was the best one for us. The second one we had was the Problowski. They were mostly Southern California centric in terms of their client list, and we didn't feel that they had a good grasp of what was going on in the Valley. Now they can look at the paper and the demographics, and that tells one story, but they haven't really done much work here, so that made us a little bit cautious. So it's staff's recommendation that we move forward with FM3, subject to doing some phone calls with their clients and getting a contract together for a price not to exceed $16,500. I can answer any questions that you may have.
You said it costs not to exceed the 16,000?
Not to exceed the $16,500.
That's been a question. It says it's between 16.5 and 18.7.
Yeah, and that's on the sample size, and we don't even think we can get 200. I don't even think they're confident they could get to 200. Even if we wanted to get to 200 to get the more sample size you have, the better your numbers are, the more accurate they are with. They're not confident that they can get to that 2 to 250 range. It's going to be very difficult. So we think with the
evening do they plan to make the calls?
Excuse me.
What time of the day or evening do they plan to make the calls?
They'll be making them all day long. And
till how late?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. And they're gonna be calling people's cell phones, and they're gonna be calling people's home phones, and I would hope it wouldn't be too late. But we didn't get to that detail of how late it's going to be. We just kind of took the point that they know there's a mark there where they're going to get a lot more hang-ups, so hopefully they'll use the correct time frame.
So, we have over 3,000 voters here in town, I believe.
3,300.
3,300, yeah.
Correct.
150 to 200 isn't even 10%. That doesn't seem like a good amount to get an idea. And then my other concern with that is, consideration is going to be for a parcel tax. How many of those voters are homeowners and renters? Because that has a potential to change opinion also if you're going straight for the people who are actually going to be paying.
We have some of the same questions. In a small community at 3,000 voters, it's going to be it's going to be a tough, it's going to be a difficult task.
Last election, there was less than 1,000 voters.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
Yeah, I understand.
So, just getting people to answer the phone and do, how many times do you get calls? Do we get calls? I know I get calls to my house wanting to do a survey for us, and a lot of times we just aren't interested. So to try to get that many people to participate. Now, if they tell us it's a little bit more work in a smaller community like ours than in a larger community like Fresno or Turlock. And they could be in and out of there really quick, where they're probably going to have to put a little bit extra time in terms of the amount of days. They could be in and out of one of the bigger cities in 4 or 5 days. They're thinking it's going to take almost 2 weeks to get that many people to answer the call, to answer the surveys.
Right. I think it's important that they try to hit landowners rather than, just because they're the ones that are going to be, financially responsible.
When we had the conversation with them, it was, each voting block and demographic has their own characteristics.
Right.
So, and they know that. So yeah, they're going to try to talk to as many people as possible, try to get homeowners in there, but ultimately it is voters that are going to get there,
Right.
whether they're a homeowner or a renter. But they said the same thing that you're saying is renters tend to vote for these things a little bit more than homeowners do, because they don't see it on their property tax. They just, it'll be an increase in rent probably, but they won't see it that way. They'll just enjoy the amenities. So your point is very valid.
Michael, question. Of course, they try to identify those people that are voting, because it seems like we'd be wasting our time if we're out there doing a survey on people that don't even never vote.
Yes, that was some of the things. And they have, when they stratify, if you will, the election, they can go out and they can look at me and say, Michael voted in this one, and he voted in this election, and he voted in this election, he didn't vote in this election, he did vote in this election. So they can tell who is more likely to vote than the others. One of the things they're also going to tell us, the results should tell us, is when's going to be the most appropriate time to move forward. Now, we've identified some potential dates. There's 2 dates early in the year, I think March and May, I believe, that you could do a mail ballot, and then a poll ballot could take place in April if we wanted to call a special election. But they don't think there's going to be a high number in those. Now they talk about the presidential election, and they're expecting 2,600 people, 2,800 people to show up for that one. So they're saying you may have a better chance if you go in November of 16. But that's some of the information they're going to come back and tell you as a council is, hey, if you go here, this is your likely chance of being successful. If you go here, this is your likely chance of being successful. This one's going to have these many voters, and traditionally out of the 3,300, there's about 1,600 permanent absentee voters, so people who are used to voting by mail-in. Those people who have that status tend to vote no on a lot of taxes. So, is that where we want to go? They're going to evaluate all that and come back for a report for you, and that'll all be included, as well as the survey, the questionnaires the surveying and the questionnaires that they're doing with the people on the phone. It'll be a bilingual survey. So if Spanish is the more comfortable language of the respondent, they'll have somebody there that can speak Spanish with them to go through the survey.
Any other questions or comments from you? Council direction?
Do you need a motion as far as?
Yeah, we'd like a motion for a recommendation that we move forward with FM3
Yes, I would.
at a not-to-exceed contract cost of $16,500.
I make that motion.
There's a motion. Is there
I'll
a second?
second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Mayor,
Councilmember
I don't know if I
Kennedy.
misspoke, but 16,500 was
Yes.
the number, correct?
16,500.
But that's based on how many people they can contact.
Yeah, between
and everything,
150 to up to 200 is what that would cover.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Thank you.
But they're estimating around 6, from what you said.
Say that again.
They're estimating around 6 from what you said, 6,500. Was that
No.
correct?
They're estimating they're going to get about 150 to 165. They're going to get in that
Right.
150 to 200 range, but the cost is going to be the 16,500.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I got you.
So we still have a motion and a second?
Affirm.
Amen.
Okay, motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Candia absent. Thank you, Michael. Okay, moving right along. Item 11, items from District 5 Supervisor Jim DeMartini. Not quite as fast as last meeting, Jim.
What was that,
So
Mayor?
we're not quite as fast as last meeting. I think we were down in 14 minutes.
Oh, you're so much better than the rest of them, I can't tell. I hope that never changes here. You know, one thing I always appreciate is you guys just don't sit up there and fight with each other all night the way some cities do. And then, anyway, good evening, Mayor Caton, council members and staff. I just wanted to talk about the Health Summit coming up. We're pretty much on track on that. The summit will be here in Newman on August 20th. That comes pretty fast with all the little loose ends that have to be taken care of, but we have 5 confirmed teams, and somebody's putting together a 6th. Gustine has given us their list, as also there's Patterson Promontoris and Patterson School District. By the way, the Gustine team is called Waste Management, which I thought was really cute. So anyway, we're coming along on that. We have the Ag Commissioner scheduled to come out to do the official weigh-in. We have Sutter Health bringing out a motor home, which is like a rolling doctor's office, and it's a mobile clinic, and they would like to park it in your plaza there. And they'll be giving free health screenings, glucose levels in the blood, blood pressure, and they'll have doctors and nurses on there. There's no charge for anybody to have the screening. We have 10 confirmed vendors, which Newman is one of the 10. They'll provide promotional material or whatever they like at the tables, and we're working on the press release today. I think we wrote it today. So everything's coming along fine. We've got the food ordered, and we hope this will be another successful event. I believe this is number 7, too, so we appreciate being able to have it here at the West Side Theater, because it's just an ideal spot. The way out will be in Gustine. Then our next task force meeting, which will be the last one before the summit, will be this Thursday, August 30th at Gustine City Hall. And outside of that, there's really not much else of any interest.
That's at 11:30 on the 20th?
I didn't hear you.
Is that 11:30 at the West Side Theater?
Yeah, 11:30. I don't know, Mayor, if you're going to be there.
I'm going to be, that'll be my last one. I will
Okay, that'd be
there.
great to have you there, because I had put your name in the West Side Index, and they took it out.
They did.
And that was not me who did that. I put in your name, and it was just, I noticed they edited that and said it was a representative of Newman.
Yeah,
or
I'll be there for that.
city official. So, but I really appreciate you doing that. Because that, I guess, is your last day. But it would be nice if you could give the welcome for everybody.
5 o'clock. I'm
Mayor
done.
Molina is going to take part of it, and Joe Oliveros, Mayor Pro Tem
Okay.
Gustine, is coming. So we have the speaker all lined up, so everything is looking real well for that. That's all I have tonight, unless there's questions about anything.
Questions, comments? No questions. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, items from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Just one quick update on the fire. So I met with Chief Hall from the West Stanislaus Fire Protection District. We've drafted an agreement, and it's we've agreed on the wording and a lot of the text that goes in there. We're going to hand it off now to legal counsel, and they get to do their thing that they do. And then we're very close on the final job description as well. So So we're very close to inching forward about doing an agreement for a shared personnel and a joint purchasing program is what that would cover. And what it would do would be provide a shared position. It would serve as a Newman fire chief from the Newman station. Under the big umbrella of Fire Protection District on the west side, it would be a division chief under, in the West Stand Fire Protection District, and Chief Hall would oversee that. It provides a couple extra things to us. If our chief is out of town, we're going to get coverage from the West Stand, other fire division chiefs. Our chief would then be in that rotation as well, so he would serve as an on-call guy on every fourth weekend or every fifth weekend to serve as a fire chief or division chief for the west side in case there's a big incident. A small incident, they could probably handle it itself, but anytime you would need some kind of command structure, and he was in charge, he'd go out there. But it gives us additional coverage as well, because if he's out of town with whoever that person is going to be, we'll get the coverage from West End to come in and take care of it for ourselves. So it's very encouraging that we're moving forward. So hopefully next month we'll bring that to you. We have a target date of getting that executed and moving forward by September 1st. We're probably going to, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, start a recruitment to get it going in terms of selection of a person. So that's all that I have to update you on, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
Chief Souza's still hanging in there?
Chief Souza's still hanging in there, yeah.
Okay.
Still there.
Any questions or comments from Michael? Thank you. Will staff, Chief?
Couple quick things. Some of you may know, but Officer Villalobos resigned from our department. He accepted a job with the Sirius Police Department. So we'll be starting a recruitment here shortly for a full-time officer. We do have a reserve coming on, Tommy Flores, who you guys will see be sworn in at the next meeting. He comes in this week, I believe Thursday, to do his official or swearing in, but he'll do a ceremonial one next time. And the last thing I have is I missed last meeting. I appreciate your kind words, Mayor. I thank you for taking the chance on me years ago. I appreciate all your guidance throughout my career, and I believe I'm sitting here a large part because of you, and I wish you well in your adventure, in your next chapter.
Appreciate it. Stephanie?
Nothing tonight.
Yeah, how do you follow that one?
I know.
I got nothing.
Kissin?
And that's the report tonight.
Nothing? Wow.
Wow.
Okay, Bob?
I don't have anything, but I would tell you, we were going to have cookies tonight, but the city manager ate them all.
Dropped the ball?
I'm just kidding.
I'm gearing up for Biggest Loser.
Yes, I don't have anything.
Okay. Casey?
Just one question. Where are we at on the skate park?
So we have already put that back out to bid. We have a pre-construction meeting, let me look at the calendar, on the 10th, I believe, and then we're opening up bids on the 18th of August. We've been getting some more interest, phone calls about engineers' estimates. I've gotten some calls from people getting plans, asking for addendums, things like that. I don't know if I mentioned before, but we sent it out to 24 builders exchanges and sent out notices to 24 contractors in Northern California also that have done these kind of projects before, and it's on our website, and we advertise in the paper. So I think we did our due diligence. So I'm excited. I think we're going to get a couple of bids, and I'm hoping they'll be competitive, and we can get this project going.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Roberta?
No, no.
I don't have too much. Just like to thank Jim again for coming meeting with us tonight. I think it was important and that we cleared up any possible misunderstandings, and I'm grateful that you're supportive of our urban growth boundaries and our lines, and the city has done their due diligence, and and hopefully you'll consider carrying that resolution we gave you to study that and talk with Michael and possibly carry that on to LAFCO would be great. Newman has been on the leading edge as far as within our county of cities who have defined our growth boundaries and set our future. So so I'm happy that you're supportive of the city, and I appreciate that very much. So with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second it.
Motion and second. Good night. Thank you.